Quiet on the set.
Camera speed.
Sound production, take one.
Action!
This is rare. Rarely do I keep watching the movie and I just keep recording. Normally, I'll watch a movie a few times, get so excited when I kind of get this like epiphany, like this rush. It's just like a dopamine flood, and I rush to kind of like sit down and fire everything up and sit down and talk about what we do here at the AKAPAD Film Buff podcast. This is a celebration of the film going experience. It's a celebration of cartoons, cinema, movies, blockbusters, streaming, all of it. Serialized entertainment. And we've done that in all of its forms as well. Tomorrow War 2021, directed by James McKay, written by Zach Dean, and starring Chris Pratt, who is a top-level action star at this point. I think this movie solidifies him as the next giant action star, and people have been saying that for quite some time. But it's different when you see it, and you see it form very similar to where, you know, how Ryan Reynolds got locked in post Deadpool. Very different. Ryan Reynolds, people always said Ryan Reynolds had potential going back to Vane Wilder, going back to Blade 3 Trinity at his, you know, with his amazing body transformation. But Chris Pratt, he has the ability to launch multiple franchises. You know, like we know him with Jurassic World, we know him with Guardians of the Galaxy. He's still Star-Lord. Like, isn't that amazing? He's the only one of that cast that didn't run away from the role. It's so wild to me. It's equally wild that Chris Pratt does not have a Star-Lord movie in play, because I feel like his character Star-Lord is one of those few remaining original Marvel Cinematic Universe characters that still have a beat, that still resonates, that feels like a marquee character, very much like Doctor Strange does and Thor does, but they're technically not marquee characters. So maybe, I don't know, but I know there's nothing Star-Lord like believably on the slate. So a lot of times though, AK Padders, I do my best to experience a movie, experiencing it in multi-faceted ways. Sometimes I even try and recreate the ways that I know people absorb this level of content. Meaning, you know, I walk a few miles a day in Center City, Philadelphia. You know, just for example, the other day was a 6-mile day, and it brought me all the way from West Philly to Old City. And you know, these are things I do around my workday, and a lot of how I structure my flow, if you will, is, you know, I load up my laptop, I load up my hard drive, and I bring work with me, so I can, you know, hit the salary requirements, you know, be a superhero when it comes to the IT business, answer a lot of questions, meeting with a lot of different people, you know, writing things, documenting things, like all of it. The high and low when it comes to a true IT lifestyle. But then, you know, as an IT professional, my business process management stuff, you know, or my processes streamlined. So at any time I can crack open my laptop and get to work on something for all of you. This is a little bit of the image of Peter A. DeLuca being nonstop productive, but in a way, I do live up to that. So Tomorrow War, I first watched it, and it was just this, I hate to say it, I think what I knew other people had said about this movie, I think some of it got to me. I really do. I got tricked, because I watched this movie, and it's like, oh my god, I'm like, it's so formulaic. It's this and it's that, and everything we see, like we see his dad coming back at the end, we see his dad sacrificing himself at the end, coming a mile away, everything with his daughter, the sentimental positioning of this movie, like we see it, right? Like it's all written on the wall. So this is a impressive feat, and it's a complete failure from Amazon. But then I watch it again, and then I watch it again, and I want to say a movie similarly that I had this experience with, and it also is science fiction, is Michael Bay's The Island, where I always thought that movie was formulaic, jibber jabber. But then the more I watched it, it's like, it's like, man, like there is like this like emotion, and you do root for Ewan McGregor in that movie. Like it's like you just want him to break out, and it's like this hyper version of THX like 1138 by George Lucas. Tomorrow War, a very similar experience to where I just, again, like throughout this week, and I'm in like this Mission Impossible like deep dive, where I saw what they were doing. This is a perfect time travel saga. It really is. It is so perfect. There's no questions. There's no loops. I think there's nitpickiness, but on just as a narrative sense and what we know, and as we understand things as the story marches on, like for example, like who they choose to go into the future and why. If you guys, I know we're 6 minutes in. The plot of this movie is a future war, and the future comes back in time to recruit soldiers to fight into the future, and it's a losing war, and humanity is falling. And Chris Pratt's character he's the one that literally sacrifices everything he can to save the day, to save the world. And you're with him. Like that's like the big hook here. Like you're with him when he loses his daughter. When he goes through the pain of his daughter dying. He comes back and he, full disclosure. It's not like in a lot of these future movies, right? Like you don't talk about the future. You don't right? Like you can't do it. The scene where he realizes that this tough soldier is his kin, that is his daughter, is one of the best time travel scenes I think we have it in recent day. Zach Dean is our writer. And he's also one of the story guys behind Fast X Part 1, Part 2. I believe, story for Part 1, Part 2. The evolution of the franchise in Fast X and the cliffhanger, AKAPADers, I absolutely loved it. On this channel, on this feed, on this podcast, we did the Gorge 2025 recently from Apple Plus, Apple Television. I highly loved The Gorge and the level of high concept that movie had. Tomorrow War 24 Hours to Live with Ethan Hawke. I heard good things about that. Deadfall with Eric Bana. I heard good things about that. So and dude, he's got an upcoming movie called Blood Knot. Like, how perfect is of a title is that? I don't know. AKAPADers, I think Zach Dean is one of the screenwriters today. For anyone to be able to craft this and to make it play out, and then we have like Chris McKay coming in as a director, and there's and AKAPADers. So I fell into the hole of like seeing too much commentary on this as it was coming out. So a little bit of time went, and I watched it, and it was like, I recorded it, never dropped it, sat on it for quite some time, and the movie kept. So I finished watching this like recently, right? And I go into YouTube and I see some of the later YouTube commentary, which is like nitpicking some of the time travel issues. I go back to some of these original reviews, and no one pinpointed how visually, like they pinpoint that the movie looks good, right? It's a visual movie, and what the hell does that even mean? This movie, Chris McKay gives us imagery. he gives us a panic also with this TV coverage of just footage of riots, of the world like devolving. There's a line at the end where Chris Pratt has the fix, he has the MacGuffin, he has the cure, and his commanding officer is like, look, dude, like he's like, we can't send you to Russia. And that's from a amazing scene where one of Chris Pratt's students, who's like obsessed with volcanoes, is able to direct them of where to go. That's one amazing scene. Give me a laptop. But we see this like devolving world, and Chris Pratt, even late in the movie, is set up with his back up against the wall, where he needs to go and do the impossible, and we're all, like I said, like we're all there. I haven't seen many YouTubers though, or commentators target. So there's a scene where they're kind of in this like water break, this water laboratory, and they're surrounded by this giant wall, and it's all aqua, but it's really, I mean, it looks like it's out of the water world. It's just like this armored paradise that Kevin Costner, Mariner, would love to visit. And they get attacked, but before that, there's like these scenes where we get like the silhouette of the rig with the yellow lights, and it's just like the right camera movement too, and it's just beautiful to look at. The death of his daughter, she's falling into a pit of these aliens, and everything is red, and Chris Pratt is falling with her to save her, and this right before he gets transported back to the current time, into the proper time zone. That is a starking image. It just sticks with you. The way how the neighborhood is shot, where they do this thing where like it just looks like it's rolling hills and there's houses folding in like over each other. The nighttime stuff, very similar. Again, I've just been watching a lot of Mission Impossible, but just the way Tom Cruise's house and neighborhood looks in Mission Impossible 3. It's got a little bit of JJ on it. The effects of the time travel, everyone is watching a football game, and the time travelers come back onto the field, and and we have to give credit to the editor for this scene. Two editors, Roger Barton and Jared Elkins, because we're on the field, we're cutting to the TV coverage, and we're cutting to Chris Pratt and his like Super Bowl party, and we see like the world drop from these individuals, and Chris Pratt sells that, and this is a little bit what I mean, where Chris Pratt gives us the character. He gives us to us in this scene. We see it when he visits his father. We see it when he realizes who his daughter is. Again, like a true arrival of a action hero. And I say that this is a franchise because there's one amazing backstory that Zach Dean gave us. Is like, where do these things come from? They're called, I think, white spikes, which is amazing. White spikers. We're also, quick side note, are we in a golden age of creature design? Because it feels like it. It truly does. It feels like we're in this amazing era where these creatures, like I go to Arcadia, I go to this movie, I go to what's the Quiet Place. Like these creatures are amazing. The way that they move, they have a biology to them. And the filmmakers know what to do now, to where we understand like how these creatures function and their biology without a lot of explanation. I don't know, AKAPADers. There's so much to take away. We have to give credit to Zach Dean because we want to know where these things came from. they're in some type of alien vessel, alien laboratory, and they're frozen. They've been frozen on Earth for a long time, for centuries, just laying dormant. It's very cool. We want to know. Now, can we do a sequel? Should we do a prequel? Should we do something that doesn't involve Chris Pratt's character? I don't know, because I think the time travel rules in this movie do apply. They establish how the future can be erased and there's not a thread. Like, thank God. Like, oh my God. I think Zach Dean deserves a ton of credit just for that alone. I think people slept on this movie. I think people were overly critical. I think those voices were loud enough to even trick myself. And because of that, it took me quite some time to get back to this movie. Took me a few years, couple years, and I apologize to all of you for that. I try and be better. I try not to be affected. AKAPADers, I love you guys. Rock and roll. Let's go.
Okay, that's a wrap.